Hey, you with the sad face, come on to my place and live it up. Hey, you by the dance floor, what do you cry for? Let's live it up. Morg, play the fucking intro.
Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Booth Podcast, episode 24. My name is Fennan. Join alongside me, the man I've not seen in the last 2 weeks and I've had severe withdrawal symptoms from. I missed you, mate. How you doing? Welcome back, Mayhem.
Yeah, man, doing good, mate. There's been a lot of real world shite that has conspired to delay my therapeutic Dorset tones from yourself that bring me so much joy. I've had to live up the ecstasy of a 12th league title in 13 years and the complete utter fucking domination of Scottish football. Just with random people. I was in Scotland for a Holy Communion. That'll get it right up them if it reaches the right ears as well. All us bead rattlers together. And a lot of people that couldn't. I was offered a ticket to the game, but I had family commitments. I was offered to go to Merchant City. Family commitments. So yeah, sometimes football comes second. But what a glorious couple of weeks! The meltdown in Govan has been biblical, and whoever runs the Tom Rodgick, whatever his name is on Twitter, I should really have found that out and give him a proper shout out. Whoever runs that X profile, whatever the fuck you call it now, and screenshots the follow comments for the wee weirdo, and that's generally his Twitter handle, wee weirdo, to come on to and read through and laugh at. You're a genius. It is fantastic content. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you're in any way have any affinity to Celtic, get yourself on X, Twitter, whatever it goes by now, at wee weirdo, and have a watch of him just laughing like fuck at them. Fantastic. Their pain is beautiful. We've broken them that much. They were actually raging that the women won the league title on the Sunday as well. The Sunday just passed there.
They were raging about it.
They were fuming. 19th century terrorist bastards. All this was coming out. Absolutely beautiful. They are that broken. They are raging. But yet again, their team, in whatever iteration it comes at, men's, women's, frying pans, it's 2024, who knows where we're going, they can't seem to win a league title unless it's COVID ball, unless there's fuck all fans in there. If you are 30 or younger, you've never legally been able to celebrate winning a league title if you're from the other side of Glasgow in a boozer. Fantastic viewing.
And I'm sure you managed to celebrate the right way over this past weekend in Scotland. I mean, obviously, like we said, it's been 2 weeks since we last spoke, and obviously there's been the Glasgow derby before then, in which you won 2-1, and then you wrapped up the title in exquisite fashion over Killie by, was it 5-1 in the end? Like, I think it was pretty much all said and done after the game against Rangers. But I mean, yeah, rightfully so. You're in a glorious mood.
I mean, you said it. The hard work was done on that in the beautiful Glasgow sunshine. In the east end of Glasgow, the business was done again. There was no. What were they calling themselves there? There was no moral victories that day, only proper victories. There was no lap of honour to celebrate a draw, only a lap of honour to realise we were on the brink of yet another league title. Wee Philip yet to beat us. I'm sure he'll be going hell for leather next week, but Brendan never lost a cup final at Hampden, and somehow this season we sit on the precipice of a double, which seems mental. Um, and I said a few months ago, and I've reiterated it again and again and again. This title, if they fuck it up, will hurt them spectacularly. And oh boy, has it, and inject their pain into my veins. Glorious. There has been meltdowns left, right, and centre. All of those that thought Philip Clement was the second coming of Pep Guardiola, all of
Nah.
them. And what's he done? He's done the same shite as Michael Beale and all those that have come before him. He is Pedro Caixinha 2.0, the shite he's coming out with. But hey, long may it continue. The serial losers that infest Ibrox, long may they stay. James Tavernier is in their Hall of Fame. A man that boasts as many league titles as Nicholas Kuhn, and he's been here for fucking 6 months. And he's in their Hall of Fame.
The levels, mate. The absolute levels. And you just feel that going into this weekend Scottish Cup final that they're going to completely capitulate. Well, the way things have turned out.
The pressure's bang on them, mate, because they've spoke this so long, my whole life. Most successful club in the world and all this carry-on pish. If we win, come Saturday, we draw level with their glorious trophy haul. We'll be on 118 each. And next season, if we win the league, then it'll be 55 league titles each. And they're not going to have much else to fucking shout about, apart from, I don't know, Todd Cantwell's fucking TikTok story. Like, there's not a lot else going on across there. They did this season what they seem to do in every season. They have a real good bounce under a new boss, and it gets to the business end of the season, the real championship rounds, and they Tyson Fury the fuck out of it.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Do we even give that a bit of space to talk about? My word. How the hell that guy came out and said that he should have won the fight is just utter delusion.
It's the same levels as all them saying, Celtic have no won this title, we've lost it. Now, that's the same thing, you fucking ball bag. That's exactly the same thing. But yeah, I got to say, from when we were dicking around early on in the season, and we threw away a lead and things were getting touch and go, there was big questions asked of this squad, and I've said it for all season that I don't think, well, I know this is not a good Celtic team, right? And I don't watch enough of their games, but the fact that we're above them, I think it's pretty conclusive to say that they're not a great Rangers team. And it was two very average teams this season slogging it out, and again they've fallen away. I mean, to kick up the shitstorm you did about Dundee's pitch and then go there and draw nothing each.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a fucking dead rubber, basically, when we've just got to go to Rugby Park and we end up winning there 5-0 and win the league title, you're in a dead rubber the day before and you thump them, whatever it was, 5-2. But you couldn't do that at Dens Park. You fucked the league title up. It just goes to show that these boys, when the pressure's on, right, they don't have the mentality. Now, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Goldson or Tavernier or any of the new fucking bam-up merchants that they bring in, Raskin or Dessers or any of these people, they get bogged down by the same inferior complex. They've taken 1 point from us this season, and that was a goal from Motondo in the last minute of the game, and they celebrated it probably more than Bayer Leverkusen will celebrate winning the Europa League tonight. They were fucking fist pumping, thumping their chest, fucking getting it all. That was it. Oh, what a huge point. This is our league title. And you fuck it up.
What a huge point this is.
You fuck it up away to Ross County and Dundee. Shite bags, a lot of them. You come to Celtic Park, it's must win. You have to win. Your season's on the line. This is where champions are made of. And again, you do nothing bad. You did fuck all really. You know, a scramble in the box and Dessers gets you a goal back. But apart from that, Matt O'Reilly runs the show. We should have been, if it wasn't for Jack Butland on that day, it would have been a huge scoreline. We missed a penalty.
Yep.
Yoga misses a great chance. Plenty of our
Lundstrom gets
chances.
sent off as well, so they're playing the second half with 10 men.
Big John.
Big John.
Big John. Fantastic.
Finally, a terrible challenge he makes is justified.
It was, yeah, the perfect day, and it put us on the precipice. And Brendan obviously spoke about sprinting across the finish line, and we did that. We went to Kilmarnock, a place where we've been, poor this season, been beat there twice. They knocked us out in the cup, and obviously beat us in the league, and we were fantastic. Adam Eder was superb. There was a lot of questions asked about why he was in instead of Kyogo. He proved his worth. He was fantastic. And that was it. Done, dusted, champions. We got to enjoy Trophy Day, and there was a bit of a spectacle there as well, winning it late on as champions do, and shite bags lose points late on. Hearts obviously drew with them. So in the end, Clermont come in 7 points behind us, and he finishes the season 8 points behind us. That's their fucking messiah. So get down on your knees and pray, boys. And we're clicking and we're hitting form at the right time. And Saturday's a big game, of course it is. But even if things were to go wrong and they were to win the Scottish Cup, they can say what they want. The one that they really wanted, the one that matters, the one that proves who's the best team in Scotland, is back in Celtic Park for the 12th time in 13 seasons. Unprecedented stuff. Domination that we've never seen.
Absolutely.
And long may it continue. I mean, one more, I must start singing about the 10 again.
The count begins. But moving from one league title to another, obviously you gave a little mention there to Bayer Leverkusen, who of course had the title wrapped up, but to complete an invincible season for the first time ever in Bundesliga history, going into tonight's Europa League final against a strong Atalanta side. A huge accomplishment from Xabi Alonso.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And like we said, invincible, to literally go a full season invincible. What a, no matter what, none of this pitter passer from the Arsenal fans that believe they're invincible, but they only won the league invincible. Literally, cup final, the Deutsche Pokal, the Europa League, that they can literally be completely invincible. Yeah, an amazing accomplishment. Xabi is as hot a prospect as there is. Xabi Alonso is obviously as hot a prospect as there is at the moment, and he's chosen to stay. He's, Leonardo DiCaprio'd it. Hey, fuck, I'm even. And maybe that keeps that team together for one more year, and they can maybe kick on. But there's going to be so many people that I think are sought out by massive clubs across Europe. You look at Frimpong and the links that are there. You look at Grimaldo and the stats that he's put up, obviously, and you've Verts through the middle, Boniface up top, Tar at the back. They are a fantastic team with incredible individuals, and Xabi Alonso has brought the best out of them. Deserves all the plaudits that he gets, and him staying, like I said, may just entice a few of them to stay put and then inevitably maybe move on next season. But it should be, Bundesliga may actually open up, although I'm very scared that Bayern won't take this very well and flex their financial muscles.
Yeah. I was reading something earlier that apparently there's a lot of ongoings behind the scenes where there's a bit of the board is a little bit fragmented at the moment. When they controversially dismissed Oliver Kahn as technical director, and when they had relieved Salihamidzic as well at the time. Apparently, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say animosity, but it's a little bit rigid behind the scenes. So whether that plays a big impact in their summer business, and whether they prove to be the Bayern that we've been familiar with and have gone to the other German clubs who have had a successful season and cherry-picked them, it's yet to be seen. But by all means, Leverkusen will have interest abroad from the likes of Real Madrid, from the likes of Chelsea, Man City, even for the players you just mentioned there, and more.
Yeah, and look, Bayern's animosity, as we maybe incorrectly labelled it as, it comes from a winning mentality. It comes from being the best, and it's something that quite often Celtic fans are put down for and criticised for, because there is such a high standard that is demanded of the team, and a lot of people call us spoiled. And look, 100% we are. Any team in world football that has the level of success that we've had across the last decade will become spoiled. And Bayern are 100% in that camp as well. They have been so successful, and it didn't work out with Thomas Tuchel. I would love to know the last Bayern manager that didn't win anything, because I think you'd have to go back quite a way for them not to have a league title.
You do have to go back a bit, yeah,
or even the German Cup, or some kind of success in Europe. And ultimately they were pretty unlucky against Real Madrid not to be playing at a Champions League final in a couple of weeks or whenever it is. But I would imagine that off the back of this, and knowing now that Leverkusen are there, and inevitably Dortmund will come back next year and be stronger because they haven't had a great season. I'm sure Leipzig will spend, and as every season everybody gets stronger, they'll flex muscles that perhaps they weren't going to flex before. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they've been pissing around for a while. Yes, they went and brought Harry Kane, but before that they were fucking about with Chupa Moting up top. So they were taking the piss a bit. They had Dortmund running really close last season, and they won it on the last day. Their luck run out here of maybe not being as proactive and becoming stagnant. And I'm sure that won't be accepted there for next season. And I'm sure the title race will be a lot closer, because let's be honest, Leverkusen were, I think they've wrapped up with about 5 games to go, which is a huge accomplishment to them, and fair play to them for keeping that motivation then to go on and stay invincible. Because we've seen before that teams win the title and then they can have a wee bit of a drop off, and certain teams can take advantage, but they haven't had that, and they've completed the domestic league season unbeaten, which is no small feat, and they're in a cup final, and like you said, they're playing in the Europa League tonight. So yeah, massive credit to them.
Absolutely, 100%. And then moving on to another league title, Man City wrapping it up on the final day of the season. I mean, I did sit here and say a few months ago that I did feel that City were going to go and chase Arsenal, chase Liverpool, and eventually Liverpool fell away after, I think they went back-to-back defeats, or they dropped points after losing on the weekend and then drawing the following week. And then it felt like Arsenal, it was very more fine margins. They dropped points to Villa, and Man City took full advantage of that, and Arsenal just couldn't chase them.
I'm touching on Liverpool. They lost the league at Goodison Park. They lost the league at Goodison Park.
Exactly, yeah.
I've had quite a few renditions. They barely touched the ball when they beat the Shite on a Wednesday night, and they barely touched the ball. Liverpool, I honestly thought that something was brewing, and that Klopp essence was coming, and they were building up a head of steam, and they were going to charge on. It didn't come to fruition, and like you said, in the end, you can go back and pinpoint pieces, and they have done a few times that people were talking about the Newcastle game where the ball went out and blah blah blah. Yeah. But yeah, that Villa game was massive. the pendulum swung. And as we've seen for years and years, like the true best team, the true championship team, see when it gets into that final run-in, that's when they hit form. That's when they put the wins together. That's when they go on these runs. Not through the middle of the season to open up this lead. That's what they do. We see United do it. We've heard Gary Neville and everyone from that Sir Alex Ferguson talking about it. Come February, that's where you really click in. Yeah. That's where you really go. And to be fair to Arsenal, they didn't do a lot wrong. They played fantastic. I mean, I hope and I'm sure that every Arsenal fan is incredibly proud of the efforts that they put in. The least goals conceded, the most goals scored. I think Saliba, for me, I know that Foden has won Player of the Year, and I get why he's won it because he's been fantastic this season, and they're always going to give it to a player from the team that wins the league. But I think William Saliba has been the difference this season. He's been the reason they've been able to maintain such a charge and stay so compact at the back and so secure. And Gabriel's been part of that, but honestly I think you could put anyone next to William Saliba and he brings him up. He's that Van Dijk essence. When Van Dijk was in his peak, in his pomp, you could stick anyone next to him. For fuck's sake, they were sticking Matip next to him and he was making him look good. So I don't think there's too much issues if Gabriel moves on and they bring someone else in. I think they've got the likes of Timber to come back, and whether he goes into left back or whether he comes into centre back. We've seen him obviously play centre back for Ajax as well. But I think whoever's playing next to him, William Saliba takes him up a gear, makes him look, 10 times better than what they are, just because he's so good, so powerful, so quick, reads the game so well.
Yeah, at his age as well. I mean, still at the age of 23.
Yeah, so
he's like the Luke Little Premier League defenders. Like, to be so young, but yet to be so world class at what they do. And no, absolutely, I think he's been that unit that has really kept.
Yeah, for me, he's Player of the Season, and I know that he won't get that recognition because they didn't win. And even if they did win it, they'd probably plaster Odegaard or someone else. But
they'll choose an attacking player, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But I think he's been fantastic. They've took 4 points off City this year and still not managed to get it done, which has got to be devastating. To beat the team and draw with the team away from home that you're chasing down, for them to literally only take a point off you and they still come up short. But that is the juggernaut of Man City. And by bigging up Arsenal, we're by no means playing down their accomplishments. 4 times in a row, never been done before. We are looking at one of, if not the greatest ever Premier League side.
Absolutely.
And look, there'll be a load of haters that will talk about the 115 charges, and of course, that as a club, City have to own that, and whatever comes of it, maybe. But the players and the coach and the team, they're not involved in that. It's the hierarchy that have mismanaged that. This team is phenomenal. Pep Guardiola is phenomenal, and they've done it again. Fair play to them. They just keep rolling on, and it's difficult because in the summer, no doubt they're going to strengthen, and I'm sure everyone will. But it's difficult to see. You almost have to be perfect to beat this team. And we've seen even with the likes of the leads that Liverpool had, and Arsenal being top, even so close to the end, that these guys just back themselves, stay calm, pull out result after result, and ultimately get the job done.
Absolutely. Like you said, massive feat for them. A 4th league title in the road. And, well, I mean, I can imagine that City and Arsenal will continue to lead that chase next season. Liverpool will be a bit more sceptical because, of course, Jurgen Klopp has now stepped back and Arne Slot is coming in. And so, I think from what I've heard about him, he plays identical football to Jurgen Klopp, but by all means, it's always going to be a big step up going from the Eredivisie to the Premier League. And whether they manage to strengthen in the summer and they manage to hit the ground running under Arne Slot will be yet to be seen.
Well, I think they need a striker, don't they? But Darwin Núñez, the guy, isn't it? He's big, he's strong, he's quick.
He just can't.
But he can't finish.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So top of their list must be Like, let's go and find that 20 to 25 goal a season striker. I've said it to some of the boys in our chat that are Arsenal fans. That's what they need as well. They need to stop. Like, Havertz, he has done really well. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans really like him and fair play. But what you need is a vocal point and a centre forward
Yeah,
who's going to go and affect games. And he's playing at Villa Park, right? That's your guy, right? That is the
that's your
mold.
man. Yeah,
And it's the same for Liverpool. He would slot in there seamlessly. He's quick. He's super intelligent in terms of a footballing IQ, the amount of assists he gets, the runs he makes, the movement. That's your guy. He's already playing in the Premier League. He's gone. He's gone. His levels have gone through the roof under Unai Emery. Will he be cheap? No, but that's your guy, right? Go and get him. Like Liverpool. I know they have all that. We don't pay this. You were not going to pay it for Van Dijk, and eventually you did. Look at the success. This is the guy. You don't
I
want to
didn't
be.
get that. I really didn't get that what Klopp was saying, because no, you do spend that money because essentially you put in a world record transfer for Moises Caicedo last summer, and he just said no.
Yeah, like go and get your guy. Like the midfield. Wait, I'm not sure on Endo. I think a lot of Liverpool fans like him. I haven't seen enough of him to really comment. But you know, the likes of Szoboszlai, McAllister, fair enough. You could argue they need a centre back to go next to Van Dijk, but really the glaring position is centre forward. And
Absolutely.
the model that they produce. Let's be honest, Salah's leaving in the summer. I think anyway. I think that's pretty much nailed on. He's going to be going to Saudi. You're not going to get the 200 million, but you're going to get a decent fee for him. So realistically, if you go and buy Ollie for 100 million, say, and it
Yeah,
maybe be a bit
no,
more than
yeah.
that, but
Now's the right time to cash in on Salah.
yeah, you go and buy him for 100, and you're going to get a big chunk of that back from the Salah deal anyway. And you're not really going to be affected in that because you can shift Diego Jota and Luis Diaz. You can play um,
Gakpo, you can play Nunez out wide
Nunez.
because he is
Yeah,
effective.
yeah. You've got Harvey Elliott as well that can cover in those kind of positions. I know he's played more in the midfield this season, but we've seen him play on the wings. So yeah, look, that's your guy. But same for Arsenal. You finished second. You've been fantastic all season. The glaringly obvious spot in your team is, that pivotal striker that's going to go and bag you 20, 25 goals. And some people may argue and say he hasn't done that at Villa. Yes, but he's not getting the service that he would at Aston Villa that he would get at Liverpool and Arsenal, the way they dominate the ball, the way they create chances, like Szoboszlai and Odegaard. He bags 20, 25 goals if he's in one of those teams,
Yeah,
as
no.
well as the assists. He is an FPL wet dream if he goes to a big club.
He really is. And I tell you what, then talking of more managers, Poch leaving Chelsea, which was quite surprising. I mean, had a really good run in towards the end, but was it the case of that the damage was done prior to that?
I think, yes. I think a lot of Chelsea fans had become detached from him. He'd said a few things about maybe wanting to go back and manage Tottenham one day, and they see him as a Tottenham man. And
Doesn't put
yeah,
him in a good light, no.
sixth was never going to be acceptable to the ownership there. I don't think he really had a lot of say in signings. So even the success of Cole Palmer, maybe from a coaching aspect, maybe, but he can't really take credit for that because I think that's the club are the ones that decide the transfers. And it'd be interesting to see where his next step is. I think he'll slightly have to go down because didn't have a great time at PSG. I know he won the league, but
Who
it's
doesn't?
PSG. Um, didn't have a great time at PSG. He's come to Chelsea and it hasn't really worked. He's salvaged some form of European football for him. But yeah, I think the writing was on the wall and they'll have someone, I imagine, lined up. And they've had that person probably lined up for a while. So I would imagine there'll be a very quick appointment there to get someone in and get them prepped and ready to go for the pre-season and the summer market.
Absolutely. No, 100%. And Chelsea going to be bound, like you said. Like it feels like Todd Bowley's really laid down a model there, and they've got they got a market that they're aiming for, and they'll most likely look to continue to exercise that come the summer, where it comes to having more young players being blended into this side. And
Well, yeah, they certainly have a philosophy. Sign 57 players, and at least one of them will be good. So, and that one is Cole Palmer. So, I think they need to rethink their philosophy. They're buying people that, not that they're unknown to the football world, but they're not the kind of people you'd expect to land at Chelsea Football Club across the last 15 years or so. Since that Mourinho era. I may be going back a wee bit too far, I don't know, but across certainly the last decade,
yeah,
Chelsea Football Club has been synonymous with winning trophies and being, at the sharp end of the table, and they haven't been that for a while. Not under Potter, not under Tuchel to an extent. And then, Poch inherited that mess. And like you said, he'd gone on a good run, but I think by that point, the ownership had probably decided he wasn't the guy, and they'll have someone lined up to roll in. And
Kieran McKenna, perhaps.
I don't think
he'll leave, though. I personally
no, yeah,
he'll jump.
And I don't think that's the kind of thing that would attract Todd Bowley either. He's not glamorous enough. I think they'll maybe looking in the realms of maybe like Zidane. I don't know what he's doing or if he would be interested, but that kind of like glamorized name to come into Chelsea and try and take him on again. So it'll be interesting to see who goes in, but I'll imagine it will be a big name in some description. But we'll have to wait and see.
No. It always feels like when I think of Chelsea and I think of Cole Palmer, it always takes my mind back to that Tim Sherwood interview that he had with him. He's like, "You're a fantastic player, but you're playing with shit around you," essentially. And I can't say I disagree with him. They have splashed out, what is it, 400 million in the last two windows? And Cole Palmer's the only one who is the only positive outlet for them.
It's a strange place at the moment. And you're looking probably at the other success story, and this is why I find it so baffling the way that they went, because the other success story of Chelsea's recent transfer activity is probably Thiago Silva. And guess what? He wasn't a kid. He was a seasoned vet that come in and kind of in the twilight years of his career reinvented himself and was fantastic for the club and probably played far and away more games than they ever expected him to. And I guess maybe they feel maybe they were a wee bit burnt with the likes of Cucurella and Chilwell and some of these other maybe more experienced players that they lent on. But when you lose the likes of Kante and these boys and you're just replacing them with kids. I mean, how many games has Lavia played for him this year?
No, I think he got like a long-term injury that was like near the start, so he got ruled out for about 6 months. But no, he's had a handful of appearances for Chelsea.
All right, but you're putting them in, and you're expecting all these kids to just gel, and you're probably butting heads with boys that have been there for a little while. There's anyone in the Chelsea academy must be thinking, "Fuck, get me out of here double quick," because you're buying people like Cole Palmer, an academy prospect, and they're coming straight into the team. So what kind of pathway is there through that team? That they're going to go out and spend money again.
Yeah. And they're loaning players out who are playing well. That Ian Mutson who went to Dortmund has been thriving, and they've pursued with the likes of Cucurella and Chilwell on the left side of midfield and left back. And
they're another team that Nicholas Jackson, guy, isn't it?
No.
So you've got three of the big six, probably four, because you could probably throw Tottenham in that as well. That they're in desperate need of a proper striker that's going to go and get you a decent amount of goals. And if you were being overly critical again, you could probably say that even Man United need that as well. And Rasmus Højlund, I think, is a good prospect, but I don't really think he's. I think he's kind of done. I think he's kind of done the numbers that you'd expect to do. He's got like 10 goals this season in all comps. That's what he did in Serie A when you brought him. So, you need someone that's ready-made, and to come into this league, very few can come in at such a ripe young age and really take to it. And that's why Palmer's been such a success story, but such a surprise as well.
No, absolutely. Actually, that was one point I wanted to bring up as well regarding Tottenham. There was all this nonsense when Tottenham played Man City, and Tottenham fans wanting Spurs to lose to City to avoid Arsenal from winning the title. What utter nonsense.
I can see it from both ends, mate. So say last day of the season, you're playing Coventry, and if Coventry beat you, they get 6th. But if they lose, it opens the door for Swansea.
Yeah.
And I think what happens here is, I get why Ange is pissed off, and he's maybe sim, but if it was a difference between if we couldn't win the league, and Aberdeen were coming to our place or Hearts were coming to our place, and if they beat us, they won the league, and it's not. I would want them to win the game. Would I celebrate? I know that some Tottenham fans say that's maybe going to be a bit too far. I wouldn't celebrate a team scoring against us, but I certainly wouldn't be unhappy if I left that ground knowing that result has had a real negative impact on our biggest rivals. So I understand it from both aspects.
I don't know, actually. From the aspect, from the scenario you gave me, probably want to beat Coventry. Premier League's boring, mate. Don't worry.
But it's been maybe blown a wee bit out of proportion because I don't think Ange took it too well. Obviously, he's a winner.
He was not happy.
I think he's maybe starting to understand, as a lot of other managers have, that Tottenham has a lot more issues than maybe just going there and playing the football. There's a lot of stuff going on maybe above his head and within the infrastructure. You've got to remember he has the likes of Ryan Mason in his coaching setup, who's obviously Tottenham through and through. So I think maybe there's been some stuff said that has irked him. And like I said, he's a winner that has won nothing this season, and that's not what he's become accustomed to. And people will argue that he was playing in lesser leagues and all this kind of carry. Fair enough, but if you're a winner and you win, losing hurts, and coming up short when obviously I guess off the back of knowing that Villa got absolutely thumped at Palace, and it was literally that game that could have turned your season around. Tough to take. I hope that he doesn't overstep. I hope his words don't hold too much weight, and Tottenham don't do something rash, because I think the football has been far better, and the Tottenham fans were sceptical, but I think they've taken to him and they enjoy the way that he plays the game, and he's had some real good signings, the likes of Maddison and Van Veen at the back.
Udogie coming in. I think, like you said, it's been miles above better than when it was under Conte.
Yeah, so I hope they don't do something rash, and he gets another season to bring some more players in and build on his ideas there, and hopefully they have success. But I'm also aware that Daniel Levy is very crude in the way he works, and he probably wouldn't have taken those remarks lightly. So
no, absolutely not. But then
Poch to Spurs, Poch to Tottenham, and to Chelsea.
Probably. Who knows? But we got to give a bit of credit to Aston Villa as well, finishing fourth and getting themselves Champions League. An unbelievable feat to achieve as well. Considering a few years ago they were there fighting with the likes of Cardiff in the Championship, and all of a sudden we're going to see them in the draw for the Champions League, along the likes of your Real Madrids and PSGs and your Leverkusens?
Yeah. For me, Emery, manager of the season. And it's really tight because Arteta has had an amazing season. He's the most wins that Arsenal have ever produced, and all the records and all the club records that internally are broken, and what they've managed to produce, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But I just think what Villa have done and what they've managed to break into, it is a far greater achievement than Arsenal coming up, runners up to City again. And that may be controversial to some, but yeah, for me, Emery, fantastic manager of the year. Aston Villa, what a great team. I hope, even though that I've just said that's your guy, to those that are, hunting a striker, I hope he can keep the team together. I hope it doesn't get picked apart too much. And they can add a few in there and really bring some special nights to Villa Park. It's one of those old grounds, that's packed full of history.
Yeah.
And
it's a fortress on a good night.
It'll be special, and it'll be special to all those Villa fans. Hearing that music come over and watching the draw and being buzzing, and what a fantastic accomplishment. And just if this is reaching any Villa fans' ears, go and enjoy the season. Whether you finish 10th next year or whatever, just go and enjoy the magic.
Enjoy it by being fucking disciplined, do you?
Enjoy it for all the magic. When you're away in Europe and you're bumping heads with all those naughty European fans, just remember, no fighting, no fucking fighting.
No fighting, no fighting, no fucking fighting.
But yeah, I think that's as much as we can wax lyrical about City, and rightfully so, champions, and Arsenal and the fight they've put up. I just think that's been an incredible story. I mean, Everyone was going mental when Brighton got Europa League and what a job De Zerbi was doing and all this. But why it's been acknowledged, I feel it's flown under the radar a wee bit. Birmingham City fans will probably disagree, but I felt it was flown under the radar a wee bit. And I think it's been to break into that top four with the amount of money that is being spent within that top 5-6 teams, to not only break the top 6, but to then go on another one and break the top 4. Incredible.
I don't think any Birmingham fans will be saying too much nowadays, obviously, especially if they're playing Crawley away next season.
Yeah, I was meaning that they're probably sick of hearing it.
Yeah, no, they will be, but but I think from a neutral perspective, no, you absolutely cannot disregard the success that Emery's managed to bring to that Villa side, and to go against, like you said, all those big powerhouses with big money banks and have brought in every top class player they can get their hands on. Yeah, magnificent job, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them in that draw next season for the Champions League, and looking to see Villa Park in its element and the best it can be. And really do hope that Emery will manage to maintain the squad he's got and hopefully strengthen it a little bit further as well.
This is the season to do it. We obviously saw the constraints that financial fair play puts on you in these scenarios, because Newcastle obviously had the same journey and couldn't go and do what we all thought they were going to do, and bring in some real top tier players to help them in the Champions League campaign. So they may have to be a bit crude in the market, but hopefully they can get some bodies in to help them. But I think more so the primary thing will be, can we keep this team together? And let's hope for some wonderful nights at Villa Park and some absolute shithousery from Martinez, because
he's too good at it, isn't he?
The quarter final against Lille he had that whole stadium on strings. The second leg in the shootout, fantastic. And we all learned a new rule. Apparently, if you get booked in the game, that gets
He
wiped.
definitely knew about that
And
before the game.
you can be booked in the shootout.
Yeah.
Didn't
He
know
did his
that, but
homework. Did his homework. Fair play to him. But yeah, no, it was completely. Yeah, I think it was completely baffling to all of us, and something that we all discovered on that night. But moving on to Brighton, actually, I don't think we actually covered De Zerbi's situation. Obviously, he's taken a step back and leaving Brighton now. Do you feel it's probably the case that he's taken Brighton as far as he can?
No. I think he's butted heads with Tony Bloom, is it? The owner.
Oh, yeah.
And I think maybe the owner is wanting to do some things the way that Brighton have always done them and been successful in doing them that way. And De Zerbi didn't want to do that. And the owners kind of thought, well, fuck you. What I've been doing has worked. If you don't want to be part of that, then we'll part company. I think it'll come back to bite De Zerbi. There's obviously rumours about Bayern Munich approaching him. Although a lot of people have turned Bayern Munich down. So there is rumours about that, and that could be an okay stepping stone for him. But it'll be weird to see where he lands, because I think he did obviously a fantastic job, and then we was all kind of expecting Brighton to really kick on with this fast-paced, energetic football. Signing people like Ansu Fati, and and the second half of the season they've been pretty brutal. So I don't think he's left with his stock ultra high. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where he lands and who's ready to take the punt on him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who Brighton bring in next. Do we see the second coming of Graham Potter, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe. I think it would be a job that Graham Potter would be open to. He's obviously been out of work for a little while.
So I think he'd be welcomed back, though. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I think look, if you're at Brighton, and this is absolutely no disrespect, and I'm sure they would say the same. If Brendan Rodgers was linked, I'm sure they would say the same about the Scottish game. So they can't take too much offence to it. But if you're at Brighton and a Champions League club comes in for you, like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a small portion of clubs that play in that competition, or the premier competition of European football. You have to go and take that opportunity. And we're talking about Villa in such high talks because it's that hard to do that. So when Chelsea come knocking, especially when it's a team that are going to spend money, and you're going, and you've got all these, you've seen their recent history and the success they've had and the trophies that they've won, the success that they've had in Europe.
There's an opportunity that came at the right time for Potter as well, and I think his stock was probably as high as it was at the time. And for Chelsea to come in, and obviously Todd Boehly had recently bought the club and was willing to invest hundreds of millions into the team, and I think it was absolutely not a no-brainer for Potter. And fingers crossed. I do hope he does get welcomed back in open arms, and it would logically.
I think they would. There's an adjustment period, and there's a wee bit of time that will have to pass. I'm talking from experience here.
Yeah,
because
of course
he did walk away mid-season. He did leave them. The difference between, like I said, him, what he was doing and what Brendan was doing was Brendan was away to Leicester. They weren't cutting about in the Champions League at the time.
No.
So there was a difference, but obviously they were playing in the Premier League, and the allure to go to a team that was trending in the right direction at the right time was obviously too much. So I think there would be an adjustment period. There would be he would have to win the fans back a little bit, and rightfully so because you've walked out on them. But also, there's an essence of the work that was done before, and some people may choose not to forgive him because look, I'm in that camp with Brendan where we're just about all right, okay, all right, we're square now. You've got us across the line. You've hurt them real bad. We're square, but not forgotten. Right? I don't
Yeah.
get, I get slight palpitations at the fact that the Brighton job's open because I think he would be looking down south and thinking, well, I could do a job there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I don't mean
At least it won't be mid-season this time around.
Yeah. Serby can come up the road if he wants. I mean,
I think that'd be an upgrade if anything.
But sometimes managers just fit football clubs, and you see obviously Eddie Howe left Bournemouth, went to Burnley, and then went back, and had moderate success for Bournemouth. So I think if it doesn't transpire, there'll be an adjustment period, and he's got to understand that. But also, when you look at the candidates that are laid out, sometimes you just have to swallow your pride and say, look, this is the best guy for the job. And we've kind of got to put feelings aside and get on with this and get behind the team and back the manager.
Yeah.
You don't forget those things, because to every football fan, your club is your club and they're the best club in the world, and that's what you're brought up on. The history and the traditions, and you go to games with your dad or some kind of maybe your pals or some facts of it's so personal to you. There's this tribalism that engulfs football culture, so you are hurt when someone leaves you, especially when you're being successful and you're in a really good patch. When someone decides that opportunity is better, of course it's hurtful.
No, absolutely, yeah. It always stays there, but at the same time, yeah, you want the best for your football club, and you want the best person to lead your team going forward, and that's the case. But like you said, it's always going to stick out like a thorn in the side. But look, let's move on. I think this will probably be our final segment, but we're going to move on to the games that consist of agony or ecstasy, the English Football League playoffs. Now, of course, we've seen the conclusion to League 2 and League 1, where we saw Crawley beat Crewe by 2-0 after
absolute horror predictions from us, because I'm pretty sure
I think who did we back?
Donny final.
Yeah.
I think we thought Doncaster would be Donny Rovers, lad.
Oh, Donny Rovers, mate, yeah. And then all of a sudden they're on the back end of being beaten. What was it? 8-1 on aggregate. Is that like a record for?
Was that not McDonald's?
That might have been McDonald's. Who? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Donny lost to Crewe. Yeah.
Yeah, the MK team snatchers got absolutely thumped, and it was glorious watching.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And then of course Crawley following up that at Wembley, beating Crewe by 2-0 to secure their return to League 1.
Yeah. So we fucked up there.
We did fuck up there. And then there was League 1. Now, I wanted Oxford to go up. And this guy got it right. I said Bolton. Fuck. All right. But yeah, no, Oxford getting the job done at Wembley. 2-0.
Should have had a tenner on them.
Mate, I just can't get over that Josh Murphy scored both goals. I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for him. I wish I knew where the
Mark Harris as well.
Mark Harris, he plays for them, and Curtis Nelson also plays. No, he's at Derby. Sorry, no, Mark Harris and Josh Murphy. No, very happy for them that they seal promotion, and we get to see them in the Championship next season. No, fantastic achievement. And then this Sunday is the big one. Leeds Southampton, as they coasted to victory in their second legs, as after they both had a bore goalless draw in their first legs, but Leeds.
Yeah, I fucked up the prediction for this, but I guess if Leeds win the playoffs, then the three I predicted to go up would be right. But I did say Ipswich wouldn't get automatic, so fuck that up. I did say they got through the playoffs.
I know.
I did. We were
Secretly
kind of
swap Ipswich and Leeds.
we were fingers crossed hoping for that East Anglian derby in the playoffs, and instead we just got a Leeds masterclass at Ellen Road
In the first 45 minutes as well.
Yeah, Norwich. There's a fellow I work with, this Norwich fan, and he was not happy. I wouldn't say that, but he didn't think that they had the team to go up, and they would very much have been a Sheffield United going up. So he thinks that another season building, because they snuck into the playoffs at the last minute, and losing is obviously painful in the playoffs. I don't think it's the worst thing that can happen to Norwich to get a season to build, and I would have my money on them being outside winners of the Championship next season. I think now they've got on this role that David Wagner, whatever you say about him and his play style, what he does know how to do is get a team promoted from that league. Obviously done it with Huddersfield.
Well, he won't be doing that next season with Norwich because he's been. I mean, Delia Smith gave him the boot, so
has he been sacked?
Yeah, he got sacked. Yeah, so pun completely intended. Delia Smith will not allow David Wagner to cook next season. I know. It was a very bizarre decision.
She had one too many again.
Perhaps.
Who the fuck are they going to get in there?
God knows. Who knows? She'll find someone.
Maybe the hurt of watching Ipswich go up too much.
Probably, yeah, perhaps. But ultimately, I mean, I'm sorry to say, I'm back in Leeds on Sunday. I'd do anything just to watch Russell Martin cry in a press conference again.
Leeds were fantastic. There was a big moment early in that second. I think Leeds were 2 up, and the ball broke. I think it was to Josh Sargent, and he went through on goal. And to your boy, the fella in goal,
Melia
made a big save, and then they just went strength to strength, and kind of refound their form that they had lost. I have seen that Tottenham are willing to let Joe Rodon go in the summer, whether that's out on loan or transfer. And Celtic are crying out for a left-footed centre-back, so I kind of do want Southampton to win, because then they'd be less likely to want to go to Leeds, and we can say, look, Cameron Carter-Vickers is your pal. You played with him. I'll tell you how great it is up here. Come on down.
But Liam Scales, he's had a fantastic season. He even got a team of the season card on FIFA, I saw. No? Alright, yeah, right. Go on, Southampton.
So look, there's pros and cons. Even if Russell Martin is celebrating, potentially that opens the door. And if he's crying, then fuck him, he's crying. So fuck him.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't wait for it. Russell Martin, fucking Ryland lookalike. What a fucking
cinched it.
Fucking bender. But we've got a lot to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. Got cup final action. Champions League to come, FA Cup as well this Saturday.
That's it. Big one, the Scottish Cup final and the FA Cup final on Saturday, kicking off at the same time. So I will not be partaking in watching that Manchester derby. I'll be watching a proper derby.
Yeah.
That's triggered all the right people as well.
Yeah, and that's
all those
as well.
all those boys from South London.
I know, right? We know someone.
And then all the boys from Manchester, the City fans. But yeah, big Saturday, 25th of May, which is obviously a special day for us. Day we won the European Cup in 1967. So hopefully that's good omens. Brendan's never lost a cup final with us. Again, good omens. And Philip Clement is shite. Good omens.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
Hopefully we do that. Do you have any care whatsoever in the world what way the FA Cup swings?
Go on, City. I don't know.
City. Just because you work with a City fan as well.
Nah, that's it. Well, I work with two of them now because his son works with us now. So
I think Ten Hag has to win it
he has
to
to.
keep his job.
Yeah.
And even if he wins it, I don't know if it'll be enough.
No.
Because Old Trafford is literally falling down, metaphorically and actually falling down as
Actually fallen down. It's got a waterfall now. Look beautiful.
It's not a fucking waterfall, mate. It's got a full water park inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 for 1 when you go in there. Take your rubber dinghy.
I was going to say, rubber dinghy and your wellies and your fucking life jacket.
Stratford End's turned into a fucking water park.
You know what I mean?
The institution that Man United is, to be in that state, I can fully understand the sheer frustration and the hatred that those fans have towards the Glazers. And the fact that Jim Ratcliffe has come in and he hasn't ousted those parasites that have allowed one of, if not the biggest club in England to decay in the fashion that it has.
Oh, no. I mean,
It's disgusting.
how much of a stake does Ratcliffe have in the club? Do we know?
So I think he has a controlling stake, but all the Glazers didn't want to sell up or something like that. So there was a deal struck where they've remained, and he's come in as the controlling entity. But I mean, the money that has to go into that, they're mad for not selling to whoever the other buyers were. I think they were linked to PSG as well. So linked to, what is it, Abu Dhabi? That's in.
Yeah.
I mean, to not sell to them that just have money to burn to come in and really revamp and revitalise Old Trafford, whether or not it can be
and
revitalised.
instead you went and got fucking Anthony.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you got Jim Ratcliffe that runs the London Marathon. That's what you needed. Well done.
Yeah, happy days. Great to be back though, eh? I'll tell you what.
Mate,
yeah, go on. Sorry.
It has. It's been brilliant, mate. Like I said, it's a therapeutic rants and raves, as well as all the ups that we've had. Obviously, we didn't have a Cardiff segment because nothing's happened.
Nothing's happened because everyone's gone silent. We don't know if Bullet's staying or going. We don't know anything. I mean, there was a board meeting a few weeks ago. They were talking about their plans for the club's future and stuff like that, and they were talking about we're moving it. You know, hopefully a new training ground is coming into fruition now. Even though Vincent Tan is 15 years too late, he's now actually considering bringing in a director of football. That's how far behind the times he is. But no, nothing on the Errol Bullet situation. And I know some people say no news is good news, but not in this sense. It really isn't. And the fact that it's been quiet for the last... I mean, we haven't played in, a month now?
Feels ominous, doesn't it?
It's very concerning indeed, but, you know, we just got to sit back and watch the clouds go by and just see what happens, really. But I will end this episode on one final question for you, and I think I know what the answer is going to be. Do we extend the Football Booth Season 3 through the Euros?
Well,
exclusive.
I think that there will be some magical moments. So yes, certainly the group stage. Hopefully, maybe post group stage.
Yeah, maybe out the group stages.
I think some of the best times that we had was Wales at the World Cup and living those moments. So maybe the final group stage game, if the timing's right, then maybe we can do a live watch along.
Yeah, bring it back.
And then we can see. Obviously, in between, then we'll have the end of team. We'll do our season awards, the ones that matter. Fuck Sky Sports. Who gives a shit?
The season
awards. What all those Arsenal fan Thogden fucking fannies are saying. So we'll have some real season awards, and then we can build into the Euros, and hopefully it goes post, and then we can obviously maybe, I think as our pre-season would start, that should be sort of rounding off, so that may be a nice kind of start for the new season to discuss the winners of the Euros and transfer gossip as that builds up, and then we start early in Scotland. So I mean, for our players, it's going to be busy. Like Callum McGregor's going to get hardly any off season.
Yeah. No, exactly. No, he ain't going to have time to fucking scratch his arse.
And then he's gonna be back. And obviously, it's a shame. It seems that when one of us qualify, the other one fucks it up. But one day we'll get a competition where we're both out and we get to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we definitely have to bring back a watch along. We need to do it. And we are doing it. We are doing it as well. By the way, no, as we're speaking about Fogden there, you know, he predicted Cardiff to finish 20th in the season.
Well, it shows the guy has no ball knowledge.
Well, Fogden, if you're listening, you just bit the bullet. Eat shit and drink piss, you little fucking scrotum.
Be careful, his dad will message you.
Oh, he will. Tastes like promotion. Enjoy League One next season, mate. Mayhem, what a pleasure to be back, mate. Good to have you. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining me this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, our episodes are all available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and the rest of the other platforms out there. If you want to see us live on YouTube, check us out on the Football Booth podcast channel. Like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring the bell for notifications, and leave your comments down below. Until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.